Patients would often come into my physical therapy practice with a similar statement, something along the lines of, I need to learn strengthening exercises for my sore shoulder or my aching knee or my nagging ankle. Now, strengthening is always a component of rehab and physical therapy, but my question to them would be, do you have the motion that you need in that aching shoulder? Or do you have the mobility and flexibility that you need in that aching, stiff ankle? This would often lead to some of the confusion about mobilizing and stretching our bodies. So welcome back everyone, Michael O'Connor here, Doctor of Physical Therapy. Today I wanted to share with you some of the common errors or mistakes that I regularly saw in physical therapy, and I'm going to review the top 5 things that I saw on a daily basis and give you specific tips on how you can make sure you're avoiding these errors when you're stretching your body and getting the most out of your stretches. And stay with me till the end, because I think you'll be surprised at the number one thing that kind of threw people off when they were stretching their body. And I'll give you a specific approach so that you can avoid this number one mistake. Let's take a look at the details. So number 5 on the list is positioning. And by this I mean poor positioning and using gravity to either help you or work against you while you're stretching. You'll also see some stretches that have the recommendation to use a towel or some form of a strap. In the rehab world, I always wanted to go with gravity assisted stretching. I didn't want patients to be working against gravity while they're recovering from something or trying to calm a body part down. Let's go through a specific example of this. When you're stretching your hamstring, it's commonly advised that you're lying on your back and you take a strap or a towel and wrap it around your ankle and then lift the leg into the air with the strap and try to get the hamstring stretched against gravity. Now, a couple problems with this is, number one, you're working against gravity. So to get your leg up in the air, you're actually contracting the front part of your hip muscle. So that's not a relaxing stretch. The second issue is that when you're lifting a limb, remember our legs are rather heavy body parts. The femur bone is a dense, very thick bone, and it has some weight to it. When you're lifting that leg up into the air to stretch your hamstring, you're putting tension on your entire body. I always liked stretching to be relaxing. So here's an option for using gravity to assist you in the stretch. When you're seated at the front edge of a chair and you have your foot forward, heel on the ground, your knee is soft, and you have good, tall, upright posture. And then as I lean forward, it's just a gentle control of my body with gravity helping me. Gravity is actually bringing my torso forward and allowing the stretch in the hamstring to be relaxing. Number 4, another common issue that I would see is posture. Not knowing what ideal postural alignment to be in while you're stretching. As you have heard me say thousands of times on my video, neutral spine alignment. I always told patients, remember, our bodies are learning continuously. The positions we put our body in while we're stretching, strengthening, practicing balance, every position, our bodies are learning. So, going back to the hamstring example, you can see most people stretch in a out of ideal alignment posture. Rounded back, reaching for the toes, forward head position, tension in the torso, so probably holding their breath a little bit. Ideal alignment involves neutral spine positioning. Sitting on the front edge of the chair, we practice a little bit of abdominal tension to make sure there's no excessive curve or flattening in the low back. Then we bring our shoulder blades back just a little bit, scapular retraction. And then we bring that chin into that neutral alignment position. Once I have the abs tight, the shoulders back, and the neck neutral, Then I can lean forward and have gravity assist me into that wonderfully calming hamstring stretch. Another common point of confusion is number 3, parameters. Just not knowing how many stretches to do, how long to hold the stretches, it can be a little confusing. What I used to explain to patients in my practice is when we're recovering from something, you have stiffness in your shoulder, you don't have full range of motion, or you had a surgery and you're now lacking a portion of the shoulder motion. You need to get that back. That usually takes a little more focus. That's where I use the parameters of 3 stretches, 3 times a day for 30 seconds. Easy for patients to remember because it was 3, 3, 30. That's the frequency usually needed to open up a joint and get it moving again. Now let's say you have sufficient motion and your shoulder has no issues, but you want to go and play pickleball or do something that involves overhead reaching. If you have sufficient motion, I would recommend 1 to 2 stretches just before doing the activity, and you could do those for about 30 seconds on the hold. The second area of confusion that I frequently saw is what is the best approach towards stretching? For those of us over 40 or 50, a warm-up, stretch, and then strengthening or doing cardio or balance exercises is the best approach. Warm up, stretch, then exercise. There are very few exceptions to this rule, and there are plenty of evidence-based research articles out there that verify this. One of the exceptions, though, is if someone had excessive mobility in a body part. Then you actually don't need to do static stretching prior to exercise. But for most of us, warming up, stretching, and then performing the exercise is the best approach. Why? When we warm up, and a warm up can be just a few minutes of marching, walking around the neighborhood, lightly doing stairs, getting on a treadmill or a bike, something light where you're not going to injure yourself, but something that gets your heart pumping. When the heart is pumping, it is sending warm, oxygenated blood all through our body. And that is called perfusion of our muscles. That is when the warm, oxygenated blood actually penetrates deep within the muscle. That causes almost like a lubricating effect to the fascia and the little microscopic filaments of the muscle. When they're more lubricated and they're warmed up, they have an easier time of separating and stretching. So make sure you warm up, stretch, and then perform the exercise unless you have excessive mobility in a body part. And the number one issue that I saw with individuals in stretching is just not knowing, am I stretching correctly? How do I know I'm doing this right? And I understand that seems like, how would you know unless you're a physical therapist? But I always help patients by teaching them a method to ask 2 questions whenever they're stretching. The first question is, what do I feel? The second question is, what am I supposed to feel? So let's take an example of this. If you're doing a pectoral stretch, and that's using the door frame at a 90-degree angle, and you set yourself up, and we've talked about all the postural corrections you want to make, knowing your positioning, making sure you're not straining against gravity, you're bringing yourself forward, you're set up perfectly. What do you feel? Well, you should feel a stretch across the upper chest region here. Often when patients are doing this stretch, they tell me they have sharp pinching on the back of the shoulder blade or numbness and tingling going down the arm. That's not the target of why you're stretching the pectoral muscle. So what do you feel? If it's not a good, soft, controlled, relaxing stretch, then you're feeling pain, numbness, tingling, discomfort, sharpness, then you're not stretching properly. So I always recommended come out of the stretch, reset your positioning, try it again. If you do not feel improvement and you're still having pain, discomfort, numbness, all the things we're not looking for, stop the stretch and let's review how to do it again. If you know what you're supposed to feel during a stretch, and that's what you're feeling, then you can be certain you're doing the right thing. I hope you found this video helpful about proper stretching and some of the errors or mistakes to avoid. Let me know if you're having any other issues with stretching or any other topics you'd like me to cover in future videos. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you can get updated on new videos I have coming out. And please share these videos with your friends and family. I know it can help many. I also have a free newsletter, so please sign up in the link down below. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.